You're now watching two old farts making noises.
Productive, because all you're doing is you're actually making him famous, so
Yeah.
whenever Muslims go out and they complain about the cartoonists in, where is it, in Germany or whatever, I can't remember, anyway,
No,
the
in France,
cartoonists,
Charlie
the
Hebdo.
books or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, God is not fragile. God doesn't need saving. It's us, it's our own, basically it's our own doubts at that point that are making us do that, because we have fallen into doubt, which is why we need to do that. But God doesn't need protecting from any of that. That's he's above all that. So to me, I'm like, all you're doing is basically, making those people more famous. That's all that's actually happening here. But yeah, I mean, I always laugh when people do that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
and they don't
remember
think
Dave
through it.
Allen, the Catholic, the Irish Catholic comedian? He once said, "So I hope God's got a sense of humor, because if he hasn't, I'm in deep SH1T here, And I'm sure, and he believed that it was okay to make jokes about God, because he said, yeah, if God's cool, he's got a sense of humor. Why should he not have a sense of humor?"
Well, that's true, and it's not, because if you read the Old Testament God didn't have any humor. He smited everybody. You did this, you smite. Kill your kids, smite. He burns a city. He does this. He brings a wall. God smited everything. I think God was like, smite you. Smite, smite, smite. All of a sudden, in the New Testament, God's like, I love you. I want to give you a big hug. So now, somewhere along the line, we went from the smite God, who I'm going to kill everybody and everything if you don't listen to me, which is just a lizard people. Let's just be real. Anyway, and then in the New Testament, apparently they got fed up with us, moved to Mars, waiting for Elon, and now we just give each other hugs. That's all I can say. Because at the end of the day, and we all know I like to read, so I read all this stuff, and it's true. If you read the Old Testament, God smited everything, everybody, wiped out everybody with a flood. Yeah,
Stephen, as much as we like you, we love your sense of humor, but you made a sort of semi-serious point there.
I do.
If the Jewish nation believes it's okay when you do something against God to smite everything and everybody around them,
right.
Then that's quite a
We don't believe in smiting. We're a peaceful, loving people. We have our moments, but anyway, we're a peaceful, loving people. I mean, listen, we got the Temple of the Mount. It's in our little area. Everybody goes and nobody does anything. They're trying to make peace. It's just because there's a few bad apples that don't like something. That doesn't. And when I joke about the Christians, it's because it's true, and the Catholics. But everybody else is good. But when I say, everybody, a few bad apples doesn't make everybody a bad apple. Just because, if you will, one black person does something terrible, not all black people are terrible. Just because a Jew does something terrible, not all Jews are terrible. Just because a Muslim does something, not all Muslims are going to take an airplane, right, and crash it into a. That's a handful of radicals. There's a difference. Now, Christians, on the other hand, fakakta all of you, I can't help you. But it's just, if you think of it that way, it's just really the way it is. I mean, it's just some bad players
but that's
screwed up for everybody. Yeah, no, that's my point, right? That's the point. Yeah.
My issue with a lot of these...
Welcome to Two Old Farts Extras. Stuff you've been missing because you're too lazy to listen or watch our show.